All right, let's dive right in. I want you to imagine taking some of the most powerful AI on the planet and putting it in one of the most advanced and, most isolated environments imaginable, a superyacht. This is where cutting-edge tech meets the vast open ocean. I mean, just look at this. The bridge of a modern superyacht is an absolute technological marvel. We're talking radar, sonar, GPS, countless screens and systems. It's basically a floating data center, all designed for the ultimate in luxury and, of course, safety. But here is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? You've got all this incredible smart technology, but what happens to it when you're 1,000 miles from the nearest cell tower? What happens when that satellite link inevitably drops? What happens when you cut the cord? And that question leads us directly to the core problem we're going to unpack. It's this total dependency on cloud computing. For a superyacht, relying on the cloud isn't just a minor hassle. It's a critical and often hidden flaw. Let's break down exactly why. So first up, you've got high latency. I mean, think about it. If the ship's sensors detect a potential collision, you need a decision in milliseconds, not seconds. Bouncing that data off a satellite to a server on another continent and then waiting for the answer? Well, that's just way too slow. That delay could be catastrophic.
Second, and this one is kind of obvious but so important, is the connection itself. The second that satellite link is gone, poof, all those cloud-based smart systems just stop working. That incredible masterpiece of technology basically becomes a dumb ship the moment it's truly out at sea.
And finally, we have what is, for any yacht owner, the absolute deal breaker: privacy. The idea of sending private conversations, real-time location data, security camera footage, all of it, to some third-party server, it's a massive security risk. For this world, it's an absolute non-starter. No way!
Okay, so if the cloud is completely unseaworthy, what's the answer? Well, it's simple. You bring the intelligence into the hull. You bring the brain on board. This is the power of local AI, where all the processing happens right where the data is created. And believe me, it completely changes the game.
Now, a key idea to get your head around here is something called AI inference. It sounds kind of technical, but the concept is actually pretty straightforward. If AI training is like sending the AI to school to learn a bunch of stuff, then inference is the AI graduating and actually doing its job out in the real world, making lightning-fast predictions and decisions. And when you put the two approaches side by side, the difference is it's night and day. On one side, you have local AI. It's a self-contained shield, decisions are instant, and all your data stays safely on board. On the other side, you have the cloud, which is totally dependent on that fragile connection, constantly sending your private data out into the world. For a yacht, the choice is pretty clear, right?
Okay, so we've nailed down why local AI is the way to go, but how does it all actually work under the hood? Let's peel back the layers and take a look at the actual tech stack that makes this onboard intelligence possible. So let's start with the big picture. You've got all these sensors, cameras, radar, microphones, you name it, and they're all feeding a constant stream of raw data into the system. That data goes to a central brain called the AI orchestrator. You can think of it like an air traffic controller for all the AI models. It knows exactly where to send each piece of data to get the right decision made. And here's how that data flows. See, it all starts at the bottom layer, where the sensors acquire the data. Then, it moves up through the stack to be processed before hitting that AI brain, the inference orchestration layer. Its decisions then get passed up to the applications, and finally, you see the result, like an alert or a piece of information on a screen at the very top. So what's the engine driving all of this? Well, at the very core of this system is a Mac Studio, powered by Apple Silicon. And the key piece of the puzzle on the software side is something called the MLX project. Just think of MLX as a special toolkit from Apple that's built from the ground up to make AI run super efficiently on their own chips. It's kind of perfect for this job.
And the real secret sauce here, the reason this setup is such a game changer, is Apple's unified memory. See, in most computers, you have to waste a ton of time and energy copying data back and forth between the main processor and the graphics processor. But with Apple Silicon, it's all in one shared pool. That means no bottlenecks, which makes everything dramatically faster and uses way less power. Both absolutely critical things on a yacht.
So this isn't just a bunch of theory. This tech is being used right now. Let's take a look at a real-world project called Infeedity, which is designed to be the ultimate AI first mate for a superyacht.
First, and let's be honest, probably most importantly, let's talk about safety.
One of Infeedity's main features is called the augmented lookout, and it's all about using AI to see things that a human eye, or even standard radar, might completely miss.
So what it does is it takes the feeds from all the ship's sensors, visual cameras, radar, thermal imaging, and it fuses them all into one complete 360-degree picture. It can spot a small, semi-submerged shipping container at night or even a person in the water in thick fog and alert the crew way faster than any human ever could. It's a massive leap forward for situational awareness at sea.
But it's not all just about safety. Next up, Infeedity offers something they call the Invisible Butler. This gives you that futuristic Jarvis from Iron Man-style concierge experience, but with one huge difference from your Alexa or Google Home: total, absolute privacy. So a private large language model, that's the tech behind things like ChatGPT, runs completely locally to handle guest requests, manage schedules, control the lights, whatever you need. But at the same time, another AI is basically listening to the heartbeat of the ship, analyzing tiny vibrations in the engine to predict a failure weeks before it happens. And the crucial part? None of this data ever leaves the vessel.
Now, when you have all these different AI systems running at once, one for navigation, one for guests, one for engineering, how do you make sure they all play nicely together? Well, you need a really smart design philosophy. And this project uses a fascinating concept from statistics to do it: the Markov blanket.
Okay, stick with me here, because this is really cool. A Markov blanket is basically an imaginary bubble of information that you draw around a system. Inside that bubble is only the information that specific system needs to do its job. It shields it from all the irrelevant noise happening outside the bubble. It's like putting blinders on an AI, so it only focuses on what truly matters for its task.
So on the yacht, this lets you do a few really smart things. First, you isolate critical systems. The navigation AI is in its own bubble. It doesn't need to know or care about the dinner menu. Second, the system becomes way more efficient because the computers aren't wasting energy processing useless data. And third, it makes everything more secure and stable by creating these sandboxed AI modules that can't interfere with each other.
And all of this really brings us back to the core philosophy driving this whole project. And it's captured perfectly in their tagline: intelligence should not be left at the dock. It's this powerful idea that true, useful intelligence has to be independent, it has to be reliable, and it has to be private.
And that leaves us with one final, really fascinating question. You see, what's happening on this super yacht? It isn't just about luxury. It's really a blueprint for a future where powerful AI can run locally on our own devices, giving us complete control over our own data. So if this level of private, powerful intelligence is possible in the middle of the ocean, where will it go next?